You're listening to Sports Talks, and this is your host Abhishek with a V in it. We breathe sports and help you breathe some of the fresh sporty air you need in your hectic schedule. Find us in Spotify, Google Podcasts, and whichever platform you're in, we're probably there. Welcome to another episode of Sports Talks, and we'll be taking on the UCL draws against between Liverpool and Porto and City versus Tottenham, which is technically today. And we have with us again Saurabh Zaha. He is a writer for Sportskeeda, World of Sports, and also he'll be writing for Podcover. So basically, he's a freelance journalist. Basically, I'm looking forward to how Spurs tackles Man City in this draw, because they have got another chance to show City what they've got, but I don't think that they'll be going forward to the next round. But we'll have to discuss it to get it through. So what do you think?
Something we can look forward to. Tottenham will be playing in the new stadium, and given that the fact that they inaugurated their first official game last Wednesday against Crystal Palace, if the atmosphere is anything like the last game, then City are in for a real game. Because if you remember, now Spurs have a different level of energy and momentum when they are playing their own home stadium. For the majority of the season, they have been complaining. They have not been complaining as such, but their performances have lacked the home support, the home support. Now that they are in the new stadium, there is a certain energy flowing through the squad. Pochettino has reiterated that that the new surroundings are going to have an impact on this tie, and the atmosphere is going to it's going to act as the 12th man for Spurs when they play against City.
So I've read an article where Kevin De Bruyne has stated that they just do not care if the Spurs have the new stadium or not. They are in for a game and they are just simply interested in the team they are playing. So any thoughts on that?
Well, De Bruyne is right. As a professional player, you tend to believe that the atmosphere is the least of their concerns, because what happens on the pitch stays on the pitch, and that is where the players are responsible for producing the results. But as was evidenced last season when City visited Anfield, the atmosphere at Anfield did shake them, and if you may remember, Liverpool ran out winners comfortably.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Even though they might say that it might not affect De Bruyne for that matter, but he cannot say the same about his teammates. Right. The mentality what he possesses with respect to big match games might not be the same for the other rest of the players. All you need to do in in a tie of such importance, such huge importance, is one mistake. And if Spurs are good enough, then they'll take advantage of it.
Absolutely, and we have to focus on a few player battles in this, like that. You said. You have any player battles in mind where Spurs can?
Yeah, if you look at it, I believe the key battle will be how Tottenham press Manchester City. That is one of the key battles. And in order to do that, how they go about it, I believe that the main battle will be between Fernandinho versus Dele Alli. Now, if you may remember from the first couple of ties over the Premier League, in both the ties, Spurs were tentative about how to approach the game plan, because they are not very confident about their pressing at that point of time. And as a result, City ran out winners in both the ties. If you remember the second time, Ederson, who had been passed, who had a season average of I think 4 long passes every game. In that match itself, he made 19 long passes, and as a result, Spurs did falter in their approach, and as a result, they lost 3-1 and 1-0 over both the ties. So if that is the strategy Pochettino is looking to continue, then Spurs are going to be in trouble. But as has been evidenced by the matches against Crystal Palace, Huddersfield, if you look at it, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Wolves and Huddersfield not this season, last season, they pressed City more effectively. Although Liverpool's pressing was highly lauded because they did at a bigger platform, right. But these smaller clubs also showed that if you press City in the right manner, you can get the results. It might not be a winning result, but you might at least eke out a draw. And at this point of time, if if Spurs can eke out a draw, even a narrow victory, then they're going to Etihad with more confidence than Manchester City.
True, absolutely. And how do you think our like both the goalkeepers are doing in the recent forms, and also their key one of the key players Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen? What will be their impact in this game?
I believe, see, if you look at over the course of the season, Loris hasn't been having a great season. But
Right.
then that is from a perspective, but then goalkeepers are playing in such a vulnerable position that, every mistake of theirs is it's highlighted more than a normal mistake, say, which is made in the outfield.
Right.
So a goalkeeper's role is very crucial at that point of time. So Loris, when we compare both the keepers, Ederson has had a much better season compared to Loris because especially Loris could have has made some errors which he could have avoided over the course of the season. Plus, at the after the glorious World Cup, after being leading his national side to the World Cup and getting caught in the drunk driving accident, Loris has had to also go through a mental shake-up of sorts. And Pochettino has reinstated his faith by playing him over the past, I think, 10 games continuously, and as a result, you can see that Loris is leading very well. But when it comes to the team tactics, you have to look at how Ederson is playing out the game and Loris is playing out the game. Ederson adapts to the plan B much faster than Loris, in the sense. Like I said at the earlier part of my in the earlier stages, that how Ederson hit 19 long passes in a single game, although he has not been doing that consistently across all the other games. But Ederson has the ability to adapt faster than Loris, and that in fact might be the most key battle.
Okay.
Similarly, I also see the battle between Danny Rose versus Sterling to be the most,
Absolutely.
enticing one. The
Absolutely.
wingers of Manchester City, if Sane and Sterling are to start on both the flanks,
Right.
and you could say that both your Danny Rose and whoever plays at right back, be it Trippier or be it Sergio Aurier. Sergio Aurier might be suspended, but
Yes.
both these wing backs are going to have a lot on their hands. In the midfield, I personally think Harry Winks, if he's fit enough, he should start because he gives them a much more balanced outlook compared to, say, Sissoko. Sissoko, while he has been excellent this season and probably should be one of the first team starters, but when it comes to providing that stability and carrying the ball forward, Harry Winks is in a much more better position, and he can see those passes. He frees up Eriksen as well. Eriksen doesn't have the responsibility to create and go forward, and Harry Winks acts as this excellent defensive shield and who can take the ball from the back and play out those passes.
Right. Also, there has been some quotes by both the managers where specifically Pep Guardiola, has said that Spurs had 6 days to prepare and City had only 2.5, because City did put a good high-end team of theirs against Brighton to get a 2-0 win in the FA Cup. Right. So how is the fatigue factor? Do you think it is going to affect? I think fatigue factor should affect, but Pep Guardiola said that big clubs should not worry about these things. But is it true?
Fatigue is obviously a factor which might it depends on how the game pans out. If say City go into an early lead, if they go into an early lead, then I believe that City will step back, will take the foot off the gas and try to just manage the game. But if if they go down if they go a goal behind, then
Right.
City will have to chase the game. Now that is when whether they have the mental strength, whether they go ahead and try and take a result from the Spurs stadium itself and make it an easy second leg, or will they rely on the fact that since they have the second leg at home, they would rather give their all and just manage the game and take a 1-0 loss back home, or take whatever the result is back home.
Okay. So what we were telling was in the last match versus Borussia Dortmund in at Wembley, it was a 3-0 victory where Vertonghen played as a wing back, and they caused a lots and lots of aerial threats. So we can look forward to the same thing again, which might work against City. An attack in an offensive formation might work against City. Though City is an attacking team, but still it might do the job with
Yes,
because
I guess so. Yes, I guess so. But Dortmund was a different. Dortmund is a different ball game, and City is a different ball game when you're looking at the Champions
yeah,
League.
that's true.
Uh,
That's true.
uh, because if you look at it, City has been very clinical, but they have also been prone to errors in the Champions League because they're playing a much more expansive football in the Champions League compared to say means they have this season anyway. City has played more of an expansive football. Now it is more means it is up to Spurs to take the game to City because it is their home ground. And I believe that Spurs does have the capability, but if they are looking to say win this side, then a positive result is very necessary. Means it is an obvious thing, I guess.
All right. So, what's your prediction?
I would say 2-1 win for City at the Spurs Stadium.
Okay, I pretty much have the same, but as 3-1 towards City. Let's move on to the Porto versus Liverpool match. Is it really a match, or it is a chance for revenge for Porto? What is it?
Hey, this is something which you would like to give a scenario to this entire match. Given that last season Liverpool ran out Liverpool were 5-0 winners against Porto. But
Exactly.
but if you may remember, last season Porto came to Anfield and they got a minimum result, which in hindsight, it went to much good to them because they were already 5-0 down from the first leg. But this time around, if Porto do come and take away that lead, they take away that same result, then Porto will believe that they can make it to the next stages of the Champions League.
True. I
Although
get the
Liverpool
point.
has although Liverpool have already proved that they are as much an attacking threat at an away stadium as well as the home stadium, especially in the manner especially in the manner they dispatched Bayern Munich at their
Right.
home stadium 3-1. So it is a very difficult call to take, but Liverpool will start off as favorites because it is the home stadium. Salah has hit a run of form. Salah scored over the weekend on a Friday night,
Yes,
as
that
well
is
as
going to be a
Mane.
boost.
Mane has been in an excellent form since the turn of the year, and
Right.
Firmino seems to be coming onto his own. The
Right.
fact that there are a lot of factors right now which are working for Liverpool, but Porto on the other hand, since the turn of the year, they have actually dropped more points than what they had done in the first half of the season. At one point of time, they were leading 7 points in the Portuguese league ahead of Benfica. But now, because of the head-to-head record, Benfica is ahead in the league. Is leading the Portuguese league on the basis of that head-to-head record. And as a result, Porto might Porto are not the favorites for this side. It's a very clear thing.
So, how do you think Klopp will line up his team?
Klopp will line up with the usual team. I believe that he will rely on the wingers. He will rely on the fullback. Although the fact that Andy Robertson is suspended, that means that the left side of your defense will probably consist of James Milner, who is an excellent left back for that matter and a very versatile player. But he will not provide that same momentum or that impetus which Andy Robertson provides. The way, especially in the manner which Robertson has, the manner in which Robertson has actually performed this entire season, if you look at it, Miller is not going to be that effective. So I believe that most of the play for Liverpool tonight will come from Alexander Arnold, who and the onus will be on him to deliver these crosses. And yes,
What do you think the role of Pepe might be at Porto?
Pepe is suspended for this game. So I don't see him Pepe and I think their best defense is
Yes, how
uh,
is it going to affect the game of Porto?
I think Pepe's experience will obviously help them out, but
Right.
I think the biggest absence will be that of Felipe. Felipe was responsible for keeping Firmino quiet last season, and the alternative options tonight will be probably Militao, who has played the entirety of the season as a right back. He'll probably shift into the center along with probably Alex Wells. And while these two guys are good, but means there is a certain sense of doubt because Militao hasn't played the entire season as a right back, and Peles is only coming in. He played a good game over the weekend. That's acceptable, but but in a Champions League tie against this front three of Salah, Mane, and Firmino, it'll be a different story altogether.
Absolutely. Uh, so I don't think there is a lot to look out into the Porto versus Liverpool match because Liverpool are clearly the favorites and also one of the favorites to win the UCL this year. So in that way, Porto is up for a good fight, I feel. And what do you think are Porto's strengths? Like, is there any way Porto can get their way out of this?
The tactics which Liverpool employed with the fullbacks pushing up all means that the total wingers such as Brahimi as well as Brahimi and I think I'm forgetting the other person's name. I think Corona. Yeah, Corona is the one. Brahimi and Corona will find space behind the fullbacks. Now it will be it will be it's in the center of the midfield. There is Danilo who has been touted as the one who can take on Anderson. It will be up to them to provide the passes beyond the fullback because that is the only way you can expose Liverpool. Liverpool, while Van Dijk has been excellent in the center of defense, he it is individual errors can always happen. And Matic, if he starts with Van Dijk, has not exactly been the you know, centre back who is, very dependable. Matic has been good going forward when he takes the ball and he goes on, but it is Van Dijk who has been doing who's shouldering on whose shoulders, the defensive responsibility lies on. So if Porto can get the ball beyond both the fullbacks, then Porto does have a chance. And if one may remember the Champions League opener in which PSG versus Liverpool. Liverpool did start off well. They took the lead. They took the lead in that game, but PSG came back on the basis of the same strategy when they started having. Obviously, the caliber of talent on that night was different than compared to what you have up front for what you have up front for Porto. But then there is a certain possibility that Porto might just if they can sneak a goal and go back to the Dragao Stadium with even a one away goal, then they will fancy their chances of reaching the next round.
Very well. So let's end our podcast here, and we have a preview. So before we end our podcast, what is your prediction for this game?
I am expecting Liverpool to win the game 3-1 at least.
3-1.
Means 3-1 to Liverpool, but you never know. So that's about it.
True. So let's end this podcast here and let's see how the game span down and we'll watch the game and enjoy and let's see we'll come up with a match report and also we'll be coming up with the next two matches. So stay tuned.
Tomorrow evening.
Yeah, tomorrow evening and so stay tuned and thank you Sorsa for being here for being a part of this podcast. It means a lot. And thank you and see you again tomorrow then.
Okay. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you for having me on this podcast. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So there we had Saurav Saha explaining and giving his take on the UCL fixtures, which is today Porto versus Liverpool and Spurs versus City. But there's another news that came up, which is India has been disqualified or has been knocked out from the 2020 Olympics tournament. That's a sad note, sad thing for the Indian football team, but Indian football team did pretty well, and they didn't lose out. They didn't actually lose out. India had a good chance. They both have won. All the matches have same points, but just because of the goal difference, which Myanmar had 8 and India had 4, Myanmar went on to the next round. India did begin quite strong, and they had a 2-0 victory against Indonesia and thrashed Nepal 3-1 in the second game. So India did good. India did very, very good. It was just because of the goal difference that they could not go on to the next round. So here we end our podcast, and we do have a lot of fun here. And to support us, go to our social media handles where we go live and do all the fun stuff. Keep posting all the latest news, and you can catch up on latest news everywhere you go. And we cover live events as well, so you can watch live events, you can watch videos, you can go to our YouTube channel, you can go check out our Instagram handle. And big thanks to Cover Story for partnering with us for this podcast. So we'll link down below the code with which you can get 20% off on your mugs and phone covers, all the sporty goods that they sell and make and produce, and they are all customized, so you can send them their design and they get it to you in the best quality possible. So thank you, and keep following Sports Talks. Go to quadcover.com and read up on fresh articles to freshen your mind. Trust me, the articles recently have been pretty good. Do enjoy reading them up. Thank you, and have a great day, and do watch the UCL nights. It's giving us goosebumps, and I don't know how each and every game will pan out. We have analyzed the games, but let's see what happens. So goodbye and take care.